Hey guys, it's Hannah and this is Bookworms Talk, and today I am going to talk about God-Shaped Hole by Tiffanie Debartolo. I have been so excited to film this review. This is one of those books that sticks with you after you put it down. I have only had that happen in 2 other cases, and those were Mudvayne by Tarryn Fisher and The Bronze Horseman by Paulina Simons. And then this book, so that's 3 in total. That's not a lot of books. Out of however many I've read, I kind of have lost track. It took me about a year to read this, and I think it was just because I wanted to take it in manageable bites and really process it. I don't know, it's not like it's this spectacular world that you're thrown into, like fantasy or anything. This is very real. I always find myself struggling for words when I review her books just because they're so multifaceted, and I feel like I'm going to miss certain things in it, and it's daunting. I think that's a better word for it. This book follows two characters I love very much, Trixie and Jacob Grace. She does not have the last name Grace. I like his last name, so I said it. And so they meet in a peculiar way, a way that I haven't seen done before, and I love it to death. And because it involves Chris Cornell. I mean, come on. Jacob puts an ad in the paper on a whim, and it goes to the lyrics from Chris Cornell's song Preaching for a Friend at the End of the World. Something to that effect. Anyway, the lyric goes, "If your intentions are pure, I'm seeking a friend for the end of the world." And Trixie, on a whim, also responds to it. Jacob is a character that's quirky, almost a little bit nerdy, very genius in the literature way, and you see their relationship develop, and you get to know them as these really amazing quirky characters, and Trixie makes jewelry, and Jacob is a writer, and you fall in love with these guys. To give a little hint, not a spoiler, but just a hint, this book definitely has a theme of fate and faith and hope, and not in this really cheesy Hallmark way, just in this very real fucking life way. In fact, I'm going to read you a little bit that gives you a hint on the title. This is not a religious book, so to speak, at all. So I'm gonna just read you a little bit to help you understand the title and give you a taste for her writing style. We're all searching for something to fill up what I like to call that big God-shaped hole in our souls. Some people use alcohol or sex or children or food or money or music or heroin. A lot of people even use the concept of God itself. I could go on and on. See, that's Jacob's brain, if that gives you any bit of incentive to read this further. And one more thing before I jump into the spoiler section, I want to say that this is a very musically centered and oriented book. Just like How to Kill a Rock Star was, if you have read that. If you haven't, I also recommend it, and I have a review for it, which I will link on this half of the screen and down in the down bar. But, like I was saying, I feel like a car salesman just now. Music does play a big role in this. From the very first bit, with I'm seeking a friend for the end of the world from a song, if you didn't know. Music also plays a very, very important role, and it's that parallel that I tried to hint at a little bit to the ending and the why of the ending. It is definitely a parallel to something involving music. But without further ado, I'm going to jump into the spoiler section because I can't wait to talk about the ending and this parallel that I keep hinting at. So if you haven't read it, you want to read it, you have any interest in reading it, do not watch this because I'm talking about the end first. So I'll see you guys later next time when you have read it. I cannot recommend this book highly enough. It is amazeballs. Oh, just take a chance with it. You will love it, I promise. Last warning, I'm serious. Spoilers with just a name. Do you know Jeff Buckley? Not personally, on like a personal level, not what I'm asking. Have you heard of the artist Jeff Buckley? If you haven't, you're wrong. You have. He sings Hallelujah. You know the song that everybody knows and should know because it's probably the most beautiful song. It's just incredible. Anyway, why am I mentioning Jeff Buckley? Because we're gonna get into this, and I'm gonna talk a little fast because I get that way when I tell stories. So Jacob's last name is Grace. Jeff Buckley's first and really his only album while he was alive, that album was called Grace, and on that album there was the song Hallelujah, the one I was just talking about. Jacob's book that he was writing was titled Hallelujah. This is very much an ode to Jeff Buckley, at least as far as I have seen it. Jacob dying without realizing the Jeff Buckley connection here. It went by me. It took me a year to read this, so I didn't connect things immediately. Jeff Buckley was also from California, and he moved to Memphis. And in this channel of the Mississippi River, not the Mississippi River actually, He goes into the river singing this Led Zeppelin song, and he drowns. It's this very big mystery. He was not drunk, he was not on drugs, it was just accidental. And that was exactly the parallel to how Jacob died, and it made it not better, but better. Okay, how am I going to describe what I mean by better? I hated that he died. I love that it made sense. And that made, one, the book better, two, well, I was just gonna say the book better again, but it made it all better. Still hurt, but better. You get what I mean, I hope. This is one of my favorite parts in the book, and I'm going to read, it's pretty much a page worth, but I hope you like my reading voice because it's gonna happen. So Trixie and Jacob run into Nina at the museum, and then Jacob goes off and talks to her, and Trixie's all upset about it, and she ends up going to Sarah and Pete's, and she talks to Pete, and Pete has this really just badass, I don't know why it's badass to me, there's nothing badass about it except that it was just brilliant. I should say brilliant. And then Pete has this really brilliant what was that? I think this was the point in the book in which I said to myself, yep, I think I love this. And he's saying how Jacob isn't like most guys. And Trixie says, I know. Pete responds, no, but do you really know? I mean, here's the deal. What do most guys want from a woman? I'll tell you what they want. They want a warm body to sleep next to, preferably one with a nice pair of tits, maybe someone who will cook for us and fuck on a regular basis. Pretty simple, huh? Now what we don't want is for someone who's going to come in and disrupt our lives and steal our souls. That's what we fear most. We call it our freedom, but it's our souls we're talking about. You following me? She nod. I nod. Did. You get it. Okay, good. Now forget it. Forget all that, Pete said. Because Jacob's not like that. He's never been like that. He's a damn fool, and he wants the exact opposite of that. He wants someone to obsess over, someone to possess his soul. And those are his corny words, by the way, not mine. It's what he lives for. It's what he thinks life's all about. Do you get what I'm saying? That really did. It just encompassed Jacob as a character. Reading that again in hindsight of just reading more of Jacob, I could not agree with it more. Makes me love it more the more I go back. Can I say the more again? It just makes me love it even more going back and reading it. This is one that I could definitely reread. I feel like Jacob's dad was very important in this book, and I also feel like Trixie's dad was very important in this book. They're just both real things that these characters can relate on in different ways. Just the absentee father kind of thing, I guess. About page 131 is when I expected things to start going sour. It felt like things were not going to continue going as well as they were. And she's just describing how the spirit of that rightness was meant to echo until the end of time. In one fleeting moment, I believed beyond the shadow of a doubt that Jacob was going to sell his book someday, and that we were going to break free from whatever it was that really held us back. It had to happen. It was part of the order of things. It was the way the universe was supposed to work. And at that moment, I thought, fate is not that kind. And on that note, I'm actually going to go back to the cover of the book that I purposely didn't bring up during the non-spoiler, just because even though I read it, it didn't occur to me that it would be true. I don't know why I would think that it's on the cover of the book, but that was me. And it says, when I was 12, a fortune teller told me that my one true love would die young and leave me all alone. A good song can save your life, Trixie. Don't ever forget that. I think that was a tie-in to How to Kill a Rock Star. It's not something that's so definitive, but a song can save your life, I personally think is very much a tie into How to Kill a Rock Star. And that is one thing that is a non-spoiler for either book. I thought of one I could mention. I'm a person that when I'm wronged, I want a genuine apology and not something that feels like I could have got it out of a Hallmark card. And when Jacob came back after completely disappearing and not answering his phone and being, where was he? Somewhere in the desert or something? I think in like the deserty part of California he ended up going to, or was it New Mexico? I don't even remember. But my point being, when he came back, he had this really beautiful apologies full of okays, because okays, okay, that word, and especially to Trixie from, okay, it was on point. And then when we had the news that his book sold, I still had that impending cloud of doom over my head thinking, fate is not this kind. And things started clicking, and then it was right before they went out to the ocean, they were leaving the party, and I was thinking, car crash. That's exactly what I was thinking. Then it happened, and I was thinking, this is totally How to Kill a Rock Star spoiler, that's all I'm going to say, is this could be How to Kill a Rock Star spoiler, and I'm going to end it with that because those who have read it know exactly what I mean. Oh, okay. Here's some quotes, because I cannot get out of a Tiffanie Debartolo book review without quoting most of the book. Oh, okay, I think this might be the part where Pete spoke, which I thought was really great. "That's why I love you," he said. "You try to act so tough, and you think you're so damn hopeless and godless and faithless, but you don't fool me. People without hope aren't tormented by the world the way you are. People without hope don't give a shit. But I see it in you. In the way you look at things, even in the way you look at me sometimes. Like I'm the coolest fucking guy in the universe. And I know it's in there. Reverence, belief, something. You have a lot more faith than you own up to. You just don't want to be let down. But I'm not going to let you down again. Not if I can help it." Oh, that just, yeah, completely agree. Couldn't have said it better. Another instance of Jacob's character. I love that guy. I think the part that hurt the hardest for me was when Trixie was saying, when his death was confirmed, she's like, "How did I not feel it?" Oh, that still gives me chills. Why didn't I feel it when it happened? Weren't Jacob and I soulmates? Weren't we connected by blood and veins, Siamese soul lovers? Then why didn't I know when he was gone? Why didn't I lose my breath as he gasped for his last one? Why didn't I sense his departure from this world like a strike of lightning surging through my nervous system? Why did it feel like Jacob was still out there somewhere? When someone said, kind of as a condolence to her, that, well, at least you have the memories of him. And she thought, memories my ass. In Hallelujah, Jacob wrote that memories are patches that make up the quilt of our emotions. A beautiful way to put it, but wrong. If that were true, the memories would blanket us. They would keep us warm. My memories were chilling me to the bone. Oh my God. That was my face of awe. That was my awe face. I have an odd face. Like with all of Tiffanie Debartolo's books, I fall in love with them so hard. I love the characters and how they're nerdy and quirky and real, and it's not insta-love. It's never insta-love. It's just this, it's right. It feels right, and she likes to play with fate, which I love. I love having fate woven into books. And I fell in love with this one. You know I have, and I feel like I'm not doing it enough justice. Just like with How to Kill a Rock Star, I just feel like there's so much of it that it's so hard to fit into like a 15-ish minute review. And I don't know, just check out my review on Goodreads, because I wrote a really long one for that, and I might have said it a little bit more articulately. So I think that's about it though. And just excuse the cat noises that were going on throughout this entire video. She's sliding across the floor in a bag. Let me know your favorite quotes down there in the description, and if they do have spoilers in it, make sure to put a bunch of asterisks and say caution or something to that effect, just for those who have not read it and might accidentally linger their eyes down there. I really hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you guys later next time on Bookworms Talk. If you have any recommendations that are similar to this book or How to Kill a Rock Star, please recommend me them. Please. Yeah. Bye! I'm really excited about filming this. Don't make the noise. If you climb up my curtains again, I'm going to feed you to the devil.
I would continue the book talk like this, but there's a paw on my face. Okay, I stop. She's like, "I'm sleeping, peasant." The queen is sleeping. Let her rest. You're not Bronte. We all know she's the queen. She tells me otherwise.
Trying again.